Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. It's Jonathan here after a very hard fought 2-1 victory over Leicester. At the end of the day, I think the most thing we can say about that game is job done. 12 out of 12, almost the perfect start. One little wobble which I'll speak about in a goal we conceded. But by and large, I think when Klopp started at the start of the season and he looked at these run of games until before the first international break, he went, let's get full points here. We'll go. This is our short-term goal. We'll go, and you can see that in his team selection. Yes, we made one change today, but that's one change in four games. He's very much taken this attitude. We'll get this block of games out over the way, and we'll see what happens after that. Starting with the team changes, it was perhaps one that we changed that we'll say a lot of people expected, but it didn't expect at the same time. The talk was always, I think if we were going to make any change, it was we were going to get Jordan Henderson back in the team. We did today. I could see the logic behind it, and I think I tweeted at the time earlier on that, we said Henderson will bring maybe a bit more. Well, we hoped he would bring a lot more, kind of shore up that midfield. Just could be that more defensive kind of structure, and bring a lot more to the game. It didn't. Let's be honest. It didn't really work. So it was one personnel change, but it resulted in a couple of tactical changes or positional changes. Genie, who had been very good in the six, was pushed forward on one of the kind of the right eight, we'll call it. Millie went across to the left, and it didn't work. I thought Jordan Henderson on social media is like Marmite. People love him, people hate him. Today, I've been a big fan of Henderson, but I thought today he was quite poor, and particularly in that phase in the second half where they completely overran us in the middle third. I thought he struggled big time, and then it was a knock-on effect really. I thought Genie, it was almost like one of these typical away day games from Genie where he almost disappears. He didn't really get into the game at all. He just looked lost, and it's surprisingly because that's a position that he probably up until the start of this season you would class as his natural position really, but he struggled. And even Millie, the game was quite intense. They overloaded the midfield and ran us over at times. But we started the game very well. Probably should have scored very early with the Salah chance. It was quite a bad miss from Salah, who was a little off the boil again today. I'm not sure if it's all the hassle he's getting back home off the Egyptian FA, but he was a little bit wobbly today. That chance really summed up his game. It's a lovely bit of interplay between himself and Bobby. The ball breaks to him, and you're just there. This is goal. This is goal written all over, and no, he puts it wide. Terrible miss really. And as I said, that kind of summed up his game. But we did get the breakthrough through Manny after wonderful play down the left hand side. And it was interesting. One of the things that I was while I was looking forward to kind of Henderson showing up the midfield, and I could see the reason behind that. One of the most disappointing things, and I tweeted it beforehand, was up in the last three games we've had this beautiful kind of almost triangle, I'll call it, on the left hand side triangle, where you have Robbo pushing forward, you have Manny playing a little bit just tucked in a bit, almost that kind of 10 position really, and then you have Keita bombing on, and the three players were kind of really starting to almost a mini partnership, if you want to call it that. That was taken away with Keita not being there. But Robbo, how good does he do for that first goal? Like, that's Andrew Robertson in a nutshell really for us. It's strength, it's aggression, it's determination. He's almost, it looks like he's fouled, but he keeps on going. He puts the ball across. A little bit of fortune the way the ball broke to Manny, but he tucks it away beautifully. After it's a difficult enough chance because the way the players are kind of coming into him, and he has to take it really quick. He doesn't have a lot of time to think. Yeah, and what I loved was Robbo's celebration. You can see, yes, it really meant to him. But I spoke a little there about Salah. Maybe he'd been a little bit off the boil. It's almost like roles reversed with himself and Manny from last season. This time last season, Manny's a little bit wobbly, but it's complete opposite ends of the spectrum now. Manny's almost become our go-to guy. That's 4 and 4 now, and he looks so strong. He looks so quick on the ball. Another brilliant performance today, and yeah, really turning out to be one of our almost go-to man really, which is great, because that's what you want when maybe Salah's having a little blip. But Manny's the one there to be very much that go-to guy. I thought we created a couple of chances after that. We did quite well. I thought dominated the game. Probably maybe could have got another 1 or 2 goals. But thankfully, as it turns out, we get the goal from Bobby from the corner just before, literally right on the stroke of half time, and it's flashbacks really to the West Ham game. Really, that crucial goal just before half time, and we go in there with 2-0, and you're like, okay, job done. We'll just come on. We'll close out this game. But that didn't happen. For a good chunk of the first quarter of the second half, where, as I said previously, we got completely outran. They probably dominated the game, and I think at one stage I saw the possession was like 70% for Leicester, and that was a summary of how the second half was going. We did look a little bit dangerous in the counter. They had a handful of chances, didn't really create a lot at the same time, but overran us a couple of times, and quite a couple of them almost a strike out from the game really. It's gone back to the first half as a save Alisson makes. 2, it's Gomez's tackle, I think, on Maddison, when it looks like a goal is flying in. Wonderful tackle. Gomez, I have to speak a minute on him. How good was he again today? The biggest compliment you can give him is people aren't talking about Lovren anymore. There's not a whisper out him. He was brilliant today. Probably man of the match, I would even go as far as. And that block kind of summed up his performance. And then, look, it's how do I put it? It's a thing that's going to be mocked by other opposition fans. But there's not a lot you can say really. What a brain fart Alisson had. Ball is played back, probably not the best ball in the world, but still he's ample time just to boot it, to get rid of it, to play a pass down the right wing. He decides to do a Cruyff turn, shanks it, comes inside, loses his bearings. They cross the ball. Now they nearly mess up the chance, but then they took a go. Alisson desperately dives back, but can't get it. Smashes the post in frustration. Klopp is fuming. Every Liverpool fan is fuming. It's one of those, oh, what the hell just happened there? You can't put into words that. What I would say is, let's not go overboard on the criticism. I think judging by the post-match comments by Klopp and by Alisson, pretty much most importantly, it's a lesson learned. It didn't affect the game. It probably made the last quarter a little bit more unbearable than it should have been. But it's not as if it's cost us a game. And the biggest thing I can say with it is, unlike the keepers that have played before Alisson, and mainly Mignolet and Carey, so I'm talking about here, Alisson didn't fall, didn't disappear, didn't go make another big one. He kept his confidence, he kept up, he learned from the mistake, he hoofed a couple of balls a bit more direct, but he was dominant and he didn't look jittery at any stage. Where that's one of the other 2 keepers, they go in a ball and the whole thing collapses, and we probably end up drawing or losing that game. So you gotta look. Mistakes will happen to players in all positions, but you gotta look at the reaction. And for me, the reaction was very good. And in a weird way, that might be a blessing in disguise, because next time I don't think he does that. I think he's going to be a bit more smart. He was immaculate for the rest of the game. That big, now it's a huge error. It cost us a goal and all that. It looks extremely silly, but he didn't let it dwell. He didn't dwell on it, and it didn't cost us the game. And he's got that mistake out of his way now. And thankfully, like the rest of the team, we march on a bit. It was interestingly again, and I think this strikes back to probably the summer transfer business and a few other bits and pieces. But Klopp has been ridiculed over the years for not making changes, and we die out of games, and I think so many 12 draws last season as well, and people were arguing about subs, etc., etc. This time, like Brighton again, Klopp is able to make changes that impact the game and close out the game. That being Keita and that being Shaqiri. Shaqiri I thought was excellent when he came on. Direct, hard running, getting hard yards up the pitch. Winning corners, winning free kicks, and just that direct running, and that was the outlet that we needed, and we were able to close off the game with relatively easy. I don't think I can say any more than that. The last little free kick in the mini of flutter of corners when Kasper Schmeichel comes up. But how cool was Van Dijk? I love the one, I think it's before the second last corner, where he heads it back and he's just like, calm down, everyone calm down. He goes over to Bobby, Bobby, he's giving him the high fives or whatever, encouraging everyone, the true leader of the team on the pitch there. And we close it out, and no matter what you can say really, it's 12 points. We've conceded 1 goal, which was an absolute calamity. But 9 goals, 1 conceded, 12 points, and we haven't even clicked into the gear yet. I say second, third gear at best. That front three have a lot more to go. Definitely have a lot more to come in midfield. You know, Firmino to come back in the team, Shaqiri to come in a bit more as well. A lot more to come from this team, and you know we're winning these games, and that's all we can do. And you know, on we march. It's an international break now. Players will jet off all across the world. Blah blah blah. Let's hope they can come back in one piece, because for me the next game is crucial, and this is the game that will. I think we will really see the true test of this team, because you know, yeah, you talk about Liverpool and last season, and I'll wrap it up here. You talk about last season, and everyone goes from since Spurs away, we were excellent. You know, we didn't make many defensive mistakes. We were a lot more efficient both ends of the pitch. Now we go back to Spurs. It's in Wembley. The new stadium is in build, etc., etc., etc. But this will be a true landmark. You know, Spurs, we saw them get the good results against United. We come back, we can get a result there, get a win there, and then people will really, really step up and take note. But you know, one step at a time. You know, it's the best start, 28 years or something like that. You know, this is the perfect start for us, and a lot more to come. So very, very exciting times ahead. That's my match reaction, folks. Hope you liked the video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the Redmen TV, and we will talk to you all very soon. Up the Reds!